Game on.
Hi everyone, thank you for joining me on today's edition of Glen's Retro Show. I make no bones about it that I really do enjoy these Super Impulse Tiny Arcades. I enjoy all of them. I love collecting them, I love playing them. I think they're a great value for what you get for the price. You get them at Walmart for about $12, but generally the first run of them, or the initial runs of them, go to Cracker Barrel. So some of these were $19 that they sell at Cracker Barrel. And some of my friends on my Facebook group, the Tiny Arcade fan page, were saying that they saw in the wild at the Cracker Barrel one of the new tabletop Pac-Mans from Super Impulse. So I made a stop over at my local Cracker Barrel, and sure enough, here it is, the Super Impulse Tiny Arcade tabletop version. Now this has Pac-Man in it. We're going to take a look at this in just a second. And again, since it's from Cracker Barrel, it was $19. But I think it's totally worth it. I think it looks pretty cool, even as it is right now. But they generally do seem to get the first runs of them. And then eventually they'll trickle down to, say, Walmart and get about $12, $13. So that'll be a real steal at that point. But in any case, let's take a look at the Super Impulse Tiny Arcade Tabletop, the very first one. Let's have a look. Okay, let's get a closer look first at this unit here in the box. Again, Super Impulse has a pretty standard style of box. It's a clear plastic with some nice artwork on the outside. We can see we have the test button again. If you press that, and it looks like their standard 1.4 inch or 1.8 inch, I kind of forget what they have in there, display. And it sounds like it's the Pac-Man that they've already had out already over here with their standard ones. So I'm kind of hoping that this may still have the ability to switch between the four initial games. It was Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man, Space Invaders, and Galaxian. So I'm kind of hoping that has that option. That'd be really, really cool for the price to have 4 tabletops for the price of 1. Not that I won't buy the other ones anyway, but still, the box looks very, very neat. The artwork is very nice on the box. And you can see the entire unit inside the box, which I do like. And you can see back here we have the decal. It was $19.99 at Cracker Barrel. But again, a very nice design box. You know, it can be hung up or sit on the shelf. These are all sitting down as soon as you walked into the place. And then on the bottom, you know, there's some more information about the batteries. And again, batteries always tend to be included. And this looks like it also uses 3 AAA batteries. So I'm really starting to think this is probably going to be the same as the Pac-Man already, and has a jumper on there to select the different games. But enough about the box itself. Let's get this thing out of the box and see what we have inside. Okay, let's open up this box here. They usually have just 2 little tabs holding it on, so it's pretty easy to get out of the box. And I'm really digging this thing already. Okay, let's get the box open here. I don't see any instructions. I'm just going to take a quick look and see if there's anything in here. And it does not appear to be any instructions. Again, the instructions were pretty much, I guess, on the bottom of the unit right there. So this thing looks pretty nice. Now, it is all plastic. There's no metal on it. But this thing looks pretty nice. Now, I don't have, I've always wanted a tabletop arcade. So I have this one here, but I also have somewhere around here. Here it is. I do have, of course, in my typical plastic here, a Space Invaders tabletop I had gotten a long time ago off of eBay. And maybe I'll take this thing out of the box to just compare the two a little bit. So I just thought I would show you, this is a, it's actually I think a bank, but it is a Space Invaders LCD tabletop. I gotten this off of eBay years ago. But you do put coins in here. As you put coins in, it lets you play the game. But it's not a like a color LCD. It's an old static, you know, black and white LCD screen in there. But you can see even on this one, you know, the legs come off, so you can, you know, get to the battery compartment and the coin department, which is right here. But I think this is a pretty nice little design, considering its size. You can put one here, and this guy right in front of it. And I think Super Impulse did a really nice job with this particular design. But for right now, let's concentrate on the Super Impulse unit. The top here looks really nice. I mean, it's obviously plastic, it's not glass, but it it looks very, very nice. The joystick here, oh, there we go, got the demo mode going. Feels like it's their standard joystick, which is definitely fine. Now in the arcade Pac-Man, this would have been up on an angle, and a buddy of mine, Bruce Yeager, actually made one of these about 2 years ago using the Pac-Man from Super Impulse, but made the actual shell himself. And his joystick's up on an angle, which, you know, is probably nicer, but if you're playing the machine, it might be okay doing it this way. So we'll find out as we get into the video. The one thing I did notice is the coin slot is huge. That wouldn't be too bad if it actually took a dime or something. It's not functional, but it's definitely way, way, way bigger than it would have been on the machine. And it's definitely their standard control panel, because they have start game and they have the secondary button. So that's not going to be used in Pac-Man, but maybe they're going to release their other games that do use 2 buttons. That'll be kind of nice. And it looks like our speaker grill is on the opposite side of the unit. Nothing on the back, but it has a nice look. And I will say the plastic just doesn't feel the same as it does on their arcade units or their tiny arcade units. It feels okay, but it definitely feels less premium. I'm going to use that word, less premium than it has on their other ones. The other ones are keychains and they're very, very solid. This one feels okay. It doesn't feel bad, but I can definitely tell the plastic they're using is either not the same type of plastic or not as thick. And then on the bottom of the unit right here, we have our stands and our battery compartment down here and our on-off buttons. We're going to turn it off or be off. I'm not sure if this pulls off or not, and it does. So these guys pull right off like so to make it easier to get to your batteries, and then you can put this thing back in place. So that's a nice touch. As a matter of fact, my Space Invader one does the exact same thing. So we'll get a close shot of the screen. I'm going to turn this thing back on real quick. So if you look at the screen itself, if I get it on the camera properly here, it's a good screen. It's obviously the same exact one they've been using in all their other ones. So I'm very, very, very happy with the quality of the screen. Okay, so we'll try to play the game right here. Now I noticed they say start game, but you press this button, nothing happens. It's actually this button here, so maybe they're reading start, but that does not start it. It's the very first button. So let's hit that button here. And when the joysticks have always been pretty good with these. Again, the screen looks really, really good. Can't complain about the screen. The sound effects are pretty good. But the same problem with the original Pac-Man was that the ghost sounds stop after a second. They should continue to go. Uh-oh. Oh, got jumped. I will say, and it's probably, I'm assuming the angle I'm playing it at, the joystick here doesn't feel as good or as accurate as, see, I'm trying to go, there we go, trying to go left. And this is probably the first time I think I've had an issue with the joystick. Again, I'm not sure if it's from the angle I'm playing it at or the angle it's in the machine. And it definitely could be, so I'll have to get back to you on, me just playing the game normally, how it responds. I'm trying to go over, there we go. It could be the angle I'm playing it at, because I've really never had a problem with these joysticks, but right now it's definitely giving me a little bit of an issue trying to get the joystick going where I want it to go. Yeah, I'm having a hard time with the left and right, so I'm going to try using my other hand here, see if that helps. This thing, just looking at it, I mean, it's just a nice looking unit. I'm not sure though if the joystick in this position is the problem, but it just doesn't seem to be as accurate to me. But I still enjoy playing this. I mean, this is just really neat, and it'll absolutely be a great conversation piece. But I'm definitely still going to stick by my guns and say on this particular one, the joystick kind of wants to do its own thing. But I definitely like the case. So I'll give you some final thoughts on this guy right now. Okay, we're taking the screws out here. There are 4 screws on the bottom. This one's still tight over here, I'm not sure. Okay. So, trying to get this thing so I can see it a little bit better. Okay, so I have opened up this little guy here, and I have confirmed this is the same exact board that's in their Pac-Man, Galaxian, Space Invaders, and Miss Pac-Man board. And there is a little resistor pack on here. So I should be able to take the resistor pack off and wire it to the joystick, and I have a video down below on how to do that. And that should give you the ability to play Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man, Galaxian, and Space Invaders on this one unit. So if you do see this little guy here, even at $19, you can make this little guy play all 4 little games in here. So that's kind of neat. And I'm going to close this thing back up because I don't want to lose anything. But this guy's definitely moddable, it looks like. Now, it's entirely possible they took the other games off of the chip. But just by looking at it, I'm not thinking that's the case. They probably had a surplus of these, repurposed them in this new case, which is cool. And you should be able to play other games on here, so that's going to be pretty neat to do. Now, you could do it either wired to the joystick, or you could put a slider switch, some people do that on here, or just move the jumper entirely and have a totally different game. But it looks like it's fairly easy to get access. It's actually much easier here to get access to all the different parts on this than you would have gotten in their tiny arcades. So that's kind of neat. So I'll give you some final thoughts right after this. So I will say really quickly, I did open up this little guy right here to take a look at the board. And it does appear to be the same board in the Pac-Man. However, with that being said, it looks like they did remove the other ROMs on here. So it does have the same little jumper they would remove, and if you do, it goes to what's called the test mode. You can use the joystick and the buttons to see the different, how they work and the screen works and so forth. But if you short any of the other pins, it doesn't do anything. It stays in the test mode. Only the original jumper will put this in Pac-Man. So even though it does have the potential to have those other ROMs on here, it looks like they flashed the firmware on this one simply for Pac-Man. You know what? That's okay. That's what you bought, you paid for. That's okay. It's still fun as it is. It would have been kind of cool, though, to get the other games on here, but hopefully they'll release a Pac-Man, Space Invaders, and Galaxian boards, and then, of course, you'll have them in a nice little tabletop collection. So, my final thoughts on this little guy here. I did like it. I did find this particular joystick not to be the best when I was moving it. It also feels a little bit looser, so it could be this unit. I'm going to actually take this one back and get a replacement unit for it, because I do think that since it's the same joystick they're using all the other ones there, this just might be a bad one. But I definitely like it. The playing with it is not as easy with the joystick in this position. Bruce Yeager basically took the one out of the Pac-Man unit, so this is actually up on a little bit of an angle, and that might have been better but this could be truer to the way the Pac-Man machine was. I really don't remember. I'll take a look at some pictures of how the actual arcade was. But again, it's not supposed to be a perfect replica. It's just supposed to be a tiny arcade. And for what it is, I think it's really, really neat. And I am glad I picked it up, even though I'll probably get a different one of this one, so it works. But it is weird. The coin slot is so huge. That's definitely not how it was in the machine. But overall, Super Impulse, once again, I think it did a very nice job. The sounds are really good. But it's definitely the early board with the low frame rate, like 15 frames maybe a second of the game going. Still, not too bad. So if you did like this video, please like, share, subscribe, tell your friends. Do join us on the Facebook group, Super Impulse Tiny Arcade fan page, where we talk about these little guys and many other things. So thanks for watching, and remember everyone, game on.
Glen at the Tiny Arcade fan page. Remember, don't admire people too much. They'll disappoint you.
Sit, Blue Blue, sit. Good dog.